He's got my... Ah! Bastard! You play with fire, you get burnt. Bro, he's got the sharpest claws. Benji. Alright, we're going to do a bike check on my Canyon Sender with Mr. Kibbles. Hey brothers. Hey everyone, what's up? Going to do a bike check on my Canyon Sender. This is my actual race bike from the 2 Maribor World Cups last year. I'm going to take you through my setup and what I run and why. Alright, so I got the Canyon Sender frame. I went for a size large because I've got a pretty small enduro bike. So I didn't want it to be like a massive change when I'm swapping between enduro and downhill race bikes all the time. My main focus has been enduro, so I've got to kind of make it easy to switch between the two. I've got it in the 29 setting, obviously. You can swap it to 27 if you want to run the mullet setup bro. I've got it in the short rear end because it just feels good there. It rips around corners pretty good, and I haven't felt the need to put it in the long one. Maybe if I go to Fort William this year, or like one of those super fast tracks, I'll try the long setting and see how it goes. The other reason why I went the large frame is because you've got all this adjustability with the reach. I've got it in the longest setting now, which makes it a pretty big large. Like you can run that back in the middle or way back in short. So yeah, this is probably the most adjustable frame, downhill frame that I've ever had, with the reach setting, the changing it from 27 to 29, and being able to change the chainstay length as well. It's all pretty handy. I got the same bars as my enduro bike, the like in-house Canyon brand G5. They are 30mm rise, I think, and I run these ones at 780 wide, just because I think I mentioned that in the other video. I like my enduro bars a little narrower for the little bike, because if I get on the downhill bike after that and it's got the same size bars, it feels like a massive bike with little bars. So yeah, I run these 780 and enduro 760. I run the Ergon GD1 grip in like the softest compound to save my little hands on the long rough tracks. I got a 50mm G5 stem and a 10mm, I think. Yeah, 10mm spacer under that, just to lift it up a bit. I normally run more spacers under here, but I just swapped them around so I didn't cop as much shit for my bike check. No, I'm actually trying to run them a bit lower. I've been running the pike on my Spectral pretty much all off season, and I've gotten way used to a lower bar, like a lower stack, so I'm just going to try it on the downhill bike, see how it goes. I'll probably end up putting those back under it for steep tracks, but mate, nothing wrong with trying it. For the brakes, I run the SRAM code RSC, and I run 220 rotors for a little bit of extra bite. I've got the sintered pads in now because it's like been pretty wet at home and they last a lot longer in the wet. But if it dries out, I normally run the organic ones because they're a little bit more bitier. For the position of the levers, I run them pretty flat because I feel like I ride off the back a bit. So any more down and I feel like I'm going like that and getting an arm pump. For the seat, I run the Ergon Pro Tight if it's dry, and if it's like real wet or like super muddy, I'll run the same model in like the gripper. It's got the lines across it so you don't slip off. For the drivetrain, I run the SRAM EXO 7-speed. I got the EXO carbon cranks in a 170mm. I run the 36 tooth chainring up front, and I run the E13 LG1 plus guide to keep the chain on and keep the the chainring protected, and then the Crank Brothers mallet downhill pedals. I run the pins so that they just touch the shoe. I like it to be able to move still, but also I don't want it just floating in midair. So I adjust them up a little bit as my shoe wears, so they're just touching. For the wheels, I run the DT Swiss EX511 on the 240 hubs. For the tyres, I run a Maxxis DHR2 on the rear, 2.5 wide, the new ones. Normally downhill casing, this has got a double down on it because I ran out of downhill casing tyres at home. For the front, I run the Assegai 2.5 wide downhill casing, obviously, and I run those without inserts. For the forks, I run the RockShox Boxer Ultimate. I've got the drop crown up top just to get that extra bar height if I need it. I run 161 PSI with 5 tokens. I run the 5 tokens to hold it up in its travel a bit more, but still be able to track up and feel how I want it to. Whereas if I don't have those, where I want to run the initial part of travel, it feels like it dives too much when I hit big stuff or I'm going down a real steep section with G-outs. So the tokens just help to hold it up. With the compression, I like it pretty open. I don't like the feeling of lots of compression. It feels choked up, and yeah, I like it supple. For the rear shock, I run the RockShox Super Deluxe Ultimate with a super alloy race spring. That's 500 pound, and I weigh 83 kilos. Fully open low speed, fully open high speed, same as what I mentioned with my fork. I just really don't like the feeling of compression turned on, because it chokes it up, and just I feel like it makes the shock not work as well. But there's, I think, definitely some tracks where I do have to use it a little bit. I run 7 clicks of rebound. Pretty fast, but not too fast that I'm getting bucked everywhere. Just enough so it's not packing down over repetitive chatter. Yeah, so that's about it, I think. That's my World Cup downhill race bike. And stay tuned, I'll do a Spectral bike check in the future. I'm just waiting for a few parts to make it exactly how I want it, and then we'll do a video. Cheers for watching.